Morning. I hope you had a good time yesterday, and I hope you're looking forward to an awesome second day here. So, we're going to talk about love. Might be a bit awkward at a conference about startups talking about love. Let's jump right into. Here in Australia, we do love our royals, don't we? And just in case you missed it, Harry and Meghan got married a few months ago. And I'd like to talk about love today as well. I'd like to share my love story. And with any love story, there will be ups and downs. There will be passion. There will be betrayal. I can't promise it will be as good as a royal love story, but I'll do my best. So let me set the scene. There's me. I'm Jurgen, head of design at Atlassian. And then there's Atlassian. I guess most of you know Atlassian. We are building collaboration and productivity software, and you might use some of our products, Jira, Confluence, Trello, or Bitbucket. And Atlassian was founded roughly 16 years ago by Mike and Scott, two engineers. They started to build Jira for themselves initially, and then for other developers. So it was a very engineering-led company. We built tools for software developers. Over time, more and more people started using those tools, and we realized there's a massive opportunity. So we changed our mission, and our mission now is to unleash the potential of every team. But to be able to do this, we had to change as a company. We had to change from being an engineering-led company to become an experience-led company. We had to figure out how we can fully understand our users and customers and craft the best experiences for them. We had to change as a company. And this love story is about our transition from an engineering-led company to an experience-led company. So now, finally, let me introduce my love. I came across my love roughly 15 years ago. It's finding the simplicity on the far side of complexity. That's what gets me going. That's what keeps me up at night. That's what fires me up. But what does this even mean? So usually when you start working on a problem, you just jump right into, you explore a couple of solutions, and everything sounds good, and you thought you figured it out. And then after a while, you realize, whoa, this thing is way more complex than I expected. And you realize something. You realize that you came up with a too simplistic solution. It was too simplistic for the problem at hand. And then you keep pushing on. You keep exploring. You keep understanding the problem, and you get a grasp on all the complexity in there. And then more often than not, you come up with a too complicated solution. The majority of people stops here. Only very few push further, persevere, try again, fail. And then, on the other side, you might land on something what's simple and elegant. And that's what you're after this simple solution. And you couldn't see it from the very beginning. You had to go on this journey to figure out first the complexity and then keep pushing to find this simple solution. And that's my love. That's what I'm driven by. And that's what it means to shift the whole company from engineering-led to experience-led. Changing our behavior, understanding our customers, and getting there. And I'd like to take you on this journey. So let's jump back in time. The year is 2012. We just had a handful of designers, and that's our first offsite what we did. I just started with the company. And here, we try to figure out how can we do good design at scale. And one thing what we explored, one of many solutions, was design systems. Today, design systems are super hot. Everyone talks about design system. Everyone thinks they need one. But why is this? Do you actually need a design system? Why would you even start with one? And we had massive discussions back then. Do we need one? Should we just use Bootstrap? Should we build on this? Do we need to come up with our own ones? There's a sure thing. Just doing a design system because everyone else has one is a sure way for failure. So we need to go deeper on this one. So in our case, and as in many cases, one of the reasons you come up with a design system is to bring up consistency and harmony. Back then, we had 44 different styles of drop-downs. Stuff like this happens. Everyone knows it's bad. It's bad for the users, it's bad for dev speed. But when you're a fast-scaling company, you don't optimize for those things. You just keep on pushing. The other challenge what we had was that our products, our flagship products, didn't even look like each other. So it was very hard for people to figure out, well, what works in Jira would also work in Confluence. And then there was this other challenge. People love to talk about pixels. They love to talk about style, about colors, and everyone at Atlassian did this. Everyone had an opinion on everything. The problem with this is you're actually not focusing on the real problem at hand. Do you need the button at all? Do you need the screen? Do you need this dialogue? What are you actually solving? So we borrowed a trick from Don Draper. We tried to shift the conversation. So we stabilized the UI layer and all the styles, and by this our hope was that as a company we shift over and focus on the real problem, what our users have. The other challenge was scale. How do we try get this passion, what the design team already had about the design system, also to the rest of the company? So we jumped up at stage at one of our weekly all-hands and shared the scale challenges what we have as a company. Back then, we grew a little bit. We had roughly 12 designers, but 250-ish engineers. And we had a massive ecosystem of 2,000 developers. Many of them don't have any designers at all. So we helped them to understand that we as a company need to scale and we need to find mechanisms to help everyone make better design decisions. And that's what we did. We fired them up, and within a year, we got our two leading products, Jira and Confluence, from this to that, which was a massive engineering effort. We didn't rock the boat. We deliberately didn't want to have a revolution. We wanted to have an evolution. Our users weren't ready to make a massive jump. We as a company weren't ready to make a massive jump. So we brought and introduced a system and moved this to the next level. We also documented all of this in our design guidelines and shared them publicly with everyone out there. We are doing this so that everyone can make better design decisions and can build on top of the Atlassian products. So, all is going fine. The relationship with my life is going well. We're focusing on the problem. But what if I tell you this? Designing a design system is pretty easy. Maintaining and adopting it, that's the hard part. I've seen too many times that people are all excited about a system, then they might manage to push it out once, and then it gets stale. So what's important is in there, perseverance. And this brings us to our second act. Let's talk about perseverance. We do a little bit of a time jump. The year is 2015. The design team grew to roughly 60. And this is a photo from our yearly design week where we bring all the writers, designers, and researchers in, and we create and build together. So all is going well. And then we hear this. Design systems stifle innovation. I hear this a lot. I'm so restricted. I can't express myself. I hear this from engineers, product managers, designers. And quite frankly, designers are the worst. They usually come in, yep, let's change the font, shall we? And the grid. Sure, by now I just let them have a go. Be my guest. After a while, they figure out it's way harder to pull this off. And then there's even the interesting question, what's so innovative about a new font or a new grid? Do we really need this? So I actually believe the opposite is true. Design systems don't stifle innovation. Design systems speed up innovation. But why are people saying that design systems are stifling innovation? Well, one of the reasons is too often design systems become stale, and it's hard to actually evolve them forward. So in the majority of cases, what happens is you innovate on the design system, and then you push out the changes to all your products. What we did is we borrowed something from open source, which is highly collaborative. So what we are asking our products is to innovate on their products. So in this case, let's say Confluence, and they innovate on their commenting system, and then they push it back into the design system. Then we pick it up in the system, and with the next release, we push it up to all the other products. That's easier said than done. This takes a lot of effort to continuously maintain this. Another challenge on becoming experience-led is that the experience doesn't start and stop at the product level. It's way broader. It starts with marketing and then also goes into support. But very often, marketing and product doesn't work nicely together. They have different challenges. They often have also different design systems they are following. We had similar challenges. Our marketing evolved over time. Early on, engineers built websites for other engineers. It was scrappy. And then we started to embrace our fun brand and open brand, and we evolved, and we had nice websites. They generally were fairly trendy, and the challenge with trendy is they get outdated. So what we did is, we brought the teams together and explored, did it click? Yep. And explored what could we do. We had a couple of design spikes between the marketing designers and the product designers, and introspected, what do we need, where do we need to go? And we looked at everything. We looked at fonts, we looked at grids, we looked at illustrations, we looked at the logo, we looked at the brand positioning, everything. And we wanted to go big, but then we realized something. We weren't ready yet. It was too big of a change. We couldn't pick what color system would be right for us, what fonts would be right for us, because we weren't strong enough of what our brand promise would be, what would be our brand pillars. We as a company weren't ready yet. So what we did is, we picked the most important parts out of it and aligned product and marketing. And that's what we did. And this was a big step forward for us, getting one system across it. Although, it might be a bit boring, but we were comfortable with this. We picked the right solution at the right time for the problem at hand. And of course, we also documented this all in the next version of our system, and we started rolling it out. We learned how does it feel rolling something out to physical property, to advertising, to PR. It was different challenges than rolling something out to products. So one thing on this journey is, be real about those challenges. Be real that sometimes things are harder than you thought, that you need to persevere and push on. And now we're getting to the spicy part. That's what you all have been waiting for, isn't it? So we jump another time jump. By now, the team is roughly 140. We're in 2017. That's again photo from our yearly design week. And then we get this. Ouch. That hurts. We got this feedback about roughly a year after we rolled out the second version. And that's not the betrayal I'm talking about. That would be super easy. We generally got very positive feedback about all the design changes. But then we also got people telling us that we're still too complex to use, that we are outdated, boring. They wanted to push out our products more to their marketing organizations, to their design organizations, and our language is too boring, too old school, too clunky. So we embraced this and we took this on. And we were ready. We were ready to go big. We had it aligned between product and marketing. We had a good relationship with our engineers. And we got our cadence ready. What also happened in the meantime is, design was spearheading an envisioning project where we looked forward and envisioned how our products could look like a few years out so that we can bring it to all teams out there. In parallel, we also moved our products over to AWS and started to decouple and refactor our 10-year legacy code. We embraced new technology fully. We've switched over to a React stack. We embraced mobile. So we were ready to go big. And we started to roll it out. So this is Bitbucket before it was. And then we rolled out the new design. We focused a lot on bringing the content to the center, bringing people more to the center, make it a lot cleaner, a lot more modern, a lot warmer. And we also massively simplified our navigation. And our users loved it. They wanted more. And they couldn't wait until it got to Jira or Confluence. So I jumped up on stage at our yearly user conference, where we have roughly 1,500, 2,000 people. and told them the design story, told them parts of the story I'm sharing here with you. We nerded out on design. We told them how we came up with all the background, like how it is all layered up, how it all hangs together. And they were eating it up. They couldn't wait to get more. So we became more confident. Let's change the whole thing. Let's rebrand the company, shall we? Rebranding a company at this size is incredibly scary. The majority of rebrands fail. But we did. We made the step and rebranded the company, and I'd like to roll how we introduced the new brand. Our customers loved it. The design community loved it. Everyone was embracing it. Everyone congratulated us how well this went. And we documented all of those changes in a completely new system. We changed pretty much everything. We came up with our custom-built font. We came up with new grid system, new color system, new illustration style to embrace diversity completely. We completely rebuilt our front-end stack in React and shared it all with the community. And then we rolled it out to our large products. We started with Confluence, and we moved Confluence from this to that. So much cleaner. My new love looks good in there. The new navigation, it worked beautifully fine. But then also, what happened was that our users told us they liked that simple, cleaner look, but they started to tell us that they struggle with the navigation. Change a version. We expected this. When you roll out changes like this, usually your metrics go down for a little while and then they come back up. With a large customer base, this just happens. So we factored some of this in when we started rolling it out to Jira. So that's Jira before, and that's Jira with the new language. And in Jira, a lot more happened. We changed the conceptual model on Jira. We changed the information architecture on Jira. We changed the issue experience on Jira. We changed the boards on Jira. So many, many parallel streams. And we got way more sophisticated in how we roll this out. We roll it out to different cohorts. We see how they're going. But then again, users called out. They love the new clean look, but they struggle with the navigation. And then it dawned on me. And I have a confession to make. I cheated on my love. I cheated on my love for the problem. I fell in love with the solution of the design system, with the new design language. And it took me quite a while to realize this. And it was the biggest mistake I ever made in my career. It took me multiple months to overcome and how to deal with this. Where did I make wrong decisions? What could I have done differently that this wouldn't have happened? It was challenging. So what I did then, and we as a team, we looked into it. We did multiple retros. Like this was a 2-year project. We didn't even know, how do you do retros on a 2-year project? How do you figure out what happened there with multiple different streams of work? And I then openly shared with the company, with roughly 3,000 people, my reflection of what happened, what we learned as a company in there, and what we should do differently. And the question which I get a lot is, so would you do a rebrand and redesign like this again? Hell yes. You have to. You have to be bold and embrace those things and move forward. But I would do it differently. And many of those things are probably just relevant for Atlassian. Some might be relevant for others. In our case, it was we were too bold across the board. Being bold is one of our brand pillars. But we didn't need to be that bold for the navigation, but bold on the other side. And the other thing was, we pushed out too much change at the same time, and it was incredibly hard to pinpoint where the feedback is coming. So in a future version, I would sequence this a lot more. But the most important lesson, and I believe the one which is relevant for all of you as well, is to be in love with the problem and not the solution. So if you only take one thing away from this whole talk, make it this one. It's so easy to fall in love with the solution. So how are we doing today? We're getting there. We focused on the challenges what we have. We started to change our navigation. The feedback is getting better. Our metrics are upwards trending again. And the most important thing is that my wife and I, we are understanding ourselves better again. And I'm in love with the problem again. Thank you.